Canadian, and in Canada, winter is full of activities to do in the snow. I never learned to ski or snowboard, but when I was younger, I would go sledding all the time. The elementary school I went to had a field in front of it with a small hill leading up to it. I sled on that hill. I remember my mom pushed me so hard once, I kept going for a while and ended up with my back on the floor, my legs on my red plastic sled propped up against a tree. Naturally, I found that hilarious. Now, for a second grader, that hill was sufficient. But as I got older, I started wanting to go to the other hill. A bit further away from my home was a splash park with a big hill. So many kids would go to that park to sled, and I fell in love with the hill slope. It was a pain walking up the hill, but it was so fun to sled down it, so I didn't really mind. When I was about 10, my best friend at the time and I would go to that hill with our sleds. She had this pretty blue sled, the kind that you lay down on or sit on, holding onto the fabric handles on either side. By this point, I had a different sled. It was a small blue circular sled that would turn as I headed down the hill, so I'd often end up heading down the hill with my back to the bottom. We'd take turns using each other's sleds, together or individually. We'd sometimes pile onto her sled or we'd squish into mine, each of us barely fitting into our designated half, and my dad would push us downhill. Fun times. I even convinced my mom to get into a sled with me once. She was terrified the entire time. There was just one thing though. That slope that we used to sled at was very popular, and people would always use the middle of the hill because it was the longest route. And every single year, someone would form some bumps at the bottom of the hill. And I don't mean small bumps. I mean the kind of bumps that eat you into the air. Like, not very far. They weren't massive, but you'd lose touch with the ground if you hit them with enough momentum. It was all fun and games until an accident happened. I was sledding down the hill, and I went over the first bump. It was fun and scary as usual, but the movement caused me to lean back a bit as I was flying through the air, and I landed on my tailbone. Hard. My tailbone was sore for months after that. Would not recommend. Sledding comes with its fair share of risks, but it's still fun. Just try to keep off the bumps.